So in this video, we are going to be reviewing how to add and subtract fractions. So you'll remember from the previous video that we looked at fraction basics and what were the numerators, denominators, simplest form, equivalent fractions, and you'll need all of that information to add and subtract fractions effectively. Okay, so what if we were to have a problem such as, and we'll start with something simple, maybe something like 1.5 plus 1/4. Now, I know this is probably something that you could do fairly easily, but let's go through the steps together just to refresh our memory. So the first thing you'll notice is that we have a mixed number here, meaning you have a whole number and a fractional amount added to another fraction. Now you can see that our denominators are different. And what that means is we have two numbers that are they're broken into different size pieces. Now, when we're adding and subtracting, in order to do this effectively and efficiently, we need to have the same size pieces. So what does that mean? It means that we need to convert one or both of these to be a fraction that has the same denominator, or the equivalent fractions that have the same denominator. And we'll show you how to do that here. Okay, so we also have a mixed number, which can then be challenging to add and subtract. Now, you could theoretically add it like this as a mixed number, but I'm going to show you here how you're going to start with the process of converting. So start with, we're going to say converting. You are going to convert any mixed numbers to improper fractions, also known as fractions greater than 1. Okay, so we're going to start with that. So my 1.5, I'm going to go through the process of the conversion of that 1 whole. Now, 1 whole is going to be the same as, let's say, 2/2, right? Because we know if any numerator or denominator is the same, you know that it's a whole number. So 2/2, and I then have to add it to that 1/2. So 2/2 plus 1/2 is going to be equal to 3/2. Okay, so that 1.5 is now 3/2. So I've converted that. So my real, I guess, problem that I'm working on is 3/2 plus 1/4. Okay, so far, so good. All right, so my next step is I am now going to rewrite that problem with a common denominator. So I'm going to write that here. Common. You know what? That pen's not working very well. So we could change to the highlighter. Common denominator. Okay, and what we're talking about again is that it's different size pieces. So in the first one, 3/2, basically that looks like this. Okay, so that's going to be 2 holes, and each of those holes is split in half. So 3 of those halves, so 3/2, that's what I'm talking about. I'm showing that here. 1, 2, 3 halves. And we are adding that to 1/4. Okay, so that looks like this. I'm using the same size hole. That is going to be in fourths. So it is that little piece there. Now, I am going to find the equivalent fraction then in fourths, because it's a lot easier for me to convert these halves into fourths than the other way around. Okay, so I can take each of these and I can split it in half and split it in half. And now this 3/2, or these 3 halves, is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fourths. So I'm going to put that over here. Why don't I put it over here? 6 fourths plus 1/4. And now I can add them together because I have the same size pieces and I know how many there are. So that is going to be equal to 7 fourths. Okay, now let's go down here as a reminder. What did I just do there? How did I get that? Here we go. Remember, you need to add, assuming it's an addition problem, but you go through the same process as if it's subtraction, or subtract the numerator. I'm running out of room there. And then this little pin, it's a reminder for you to keep the denominator the same. So you pin it. So notice how I added my numerator and I kept my denominator the same, because what I'm saying is for that denominator, that's the size pieces. I'm working with fourths. I have 6 fourths plus 1/4 equals 7 fourths. It's the size of the pieces. Anyway, that's what it looks like visually. Let me go in, right, equal. That is equal to, and now 7 fourths, that's all 4 of these. And then those 6 plus that 1, there we go. And that's what it looks like visually, 7 fourths. Okay, now the last thing we're gonna do is the reminder. We are going to put that fraction into lowest terms. Put answer in lowest terms. You'll also know that as simplifying. So we can call that simplest form. Okay, so 7 fourths is going to be equal to, and now let's look at our visual. I have 1 whole square that's totally colored in. Okay, so that's my 1 whole. And now I have 1, 2, 3 out of the 4 colored in. 3 out of the 4. So 1 and 3 fourths. Now, if we didn't quite see that visually, or if we remember how to do that mathematically, you can take your denominator and say, how many times can that denominator go into the numerator? 1 time with 3 left over, and then the denominator stays the same. Okay, now we have over here this like little goofy caption here. This is a reminder for you to, when you are finding a common denominator, the best thing to do is use the LCM. Okay, so the LCM of those 2 numbers, the least common multiple, is going to be the denominator that then you don't then have to simplify it later. So if you find the least common multiple of your denominators, you're good to go. So we can say these 2 guys, the addition and subtraction, whenever you're adding and subtracting with fractions. Okay, 2 to get together, we need something in common. Okay, So there we go. That is our fraction review for adding and subtracting. So I would like you to go ahead and try this on your own using the steps that we've done here. So you're going to start with converting this mixed number to an improper fraction, and then you are going to rewrite it with a common denominator. And then you are going to go through the steps of adding or subtracting the numerator, depending on whatever operation is there. Keep the denominator the same, and then put your answer in lowest terms. Okay, go back and check the next slide where you have this finished to check your answer. Okay, that's it.